Let's take a look at the parts of your Hoyer lift together. This is the manual hand pump you will use to raise the lift. This is the cradle with 3 sling attachments on either side. These are the wheels and locks to lock the base. Now let's take a little bit of a closer look. This is the spreader lever to change the base of support of the legs. These are the locks and wheels. When they are up, they are unlocked. When they are down, they are locked. This is the manual hand pump with the release dial above it. And these are the 3 sling attachments. In this demonstration, we will be using a universal U-sling. So let's talk about the parts of your sling. When you put your sling down, you want to make sure that the fabric area that is going to be touching the patient has no handles on it. The fabric area that will be in contact with the bed has handles on it for caregiver assistance. The handles are accessible from the outside once the patient is lifted, like so. There are 3 sling attachments on either side of the sling, 2 at the head and 1 at the foot. Each sling attachment has 3 loops to adjust the patient's positioning. We want to make sure that the U is pointing towards the feet and the flat surface is toward the head. When you're ready to begin, you're going to scrunch your sling up so that way it is ready to go to be placed underneath your patient. Now you are familiar with your device and ready to begin setting up for your transfer. When you are ready to put the sling underneath the patient, we're going to assist them in rolling from one side to the other. We're going to start by bending the knee that is closest to you. The patient is going to reach away from you and roll onto their side. You can give them a little bit of assistance there. Then you can tuck the sling underneath the patient as far as you can get it. Make sure the rest is flat. And then you can have your patient roll back on to their back. And then to finish getting the sling underneath of them, we're gonna have them do that coming towards you. So she can reach towards me. I can provide a little bit of assistance, and then we will flatten out the rest of the sling. Now she is able to roll back onto her back, and we can prepare the sling on the Hoyer lift. If you have obstacles underneath the bed to navigate, you can make the base more narrow so that it slides under easily. We're going to slide the Hoyer lift underneath the bed so that the swivel is in the center of your patient's body. We're going to lock the wheels for safety. And then we're going to begin placing the sling attachments. On the feet attachments, we want to make sure that we cross underneath and go to the opposite side. We're going to use the furthest attachment on the feet so that the lower body is able to go lower than the head. In the center, we're going to use the attachment closest to the bed, and it is going to align directly with the center piece on the swivel. Same thing for the attachment on the head. We're going to use the attachment that is closest to the table. We will complete this all on the other side as well. When you are complete with setting the sling on the Hoyer lift, you will use the pump to lift your patient. As the patient's head starts to lift, if you are doing this by yourself, you may want to grab on to the handle that is on the back of the patient to make sure that they are staying secure. Once your patient's bottom is floating off of the bed, we're going to go ahead and unlock the lift. We're going to move it from underneath the bed. Turn the legs of the lift towards the wheelchair. We're going to widen the base of the Hoyer lift so that it fits around the wheelchair. And we're going to position the patient's bottom over the chair. We're going to lock the Hoyer lift again. And then when you have your patient in position, we're going to slowly release the dial to lower the lift, making sure that the swivel bar does not get too close to the patient's head. You want there to be enough slack in the sling attachments so that you can get them off of the Hoyer lift. We will begin to remove all of the attachments once your patient's bottom is in the chair. And then we can get the Hoyer lift out of your workspace. And now the last piece is to remove the sling from underneath your patient. We do not want the patient's wheelchair getting caught up in the sling attachments. So in order to do so, I'm going to have my patient reach to this side and lift their bottom up, and I'm going to pull the sling from underneath of them as much as I can, and then they can come back down. And then I'm going to have them reach to the other side, lift their bottom until I can get the sling